Welcome to the Institute of Jewish Knowledge and Learning. We're here with Rabbi Akiva, all the way from Israel, and we're going to
So friends, speech. Something's going crazy with this computer.
Rabbi, did you ever turn it off and start over again?
Speech has an emotional amplitude that is...
Rabbi, we can hear and see you.
Yeah. Okay, good. And there's no reverberation occurring. So let's just continue. The way we speak has an emotional amplitude that is much more sensitive than the realm of action. Speech works on a higher frequency. And the vibrations and the effects of speech are much more sublime. Sometimes single words are able to trigger emotions in us that are actually unbelievable. Correct? One singular word can flood our memory banks, and we can begin smiling, we can begin weeping. That's how words are so sublime and so powerful. The way we speak it also influences and affects the world of action. Think about that for a moment. How we speak and what we speak has a great influence on what we do. Many an act of kindness begins with and is enhanced by loving and empathetic speech. When we speak lovingly and compassionately, that has a great effect on the hands, on what we decide to do. If we're around cynical people, their cynicism through speech is going to affect not only our speech, but it is going to affect like everything about us. But you know what happened, friends? We have devalued speech. We have devalued it. We don't realize the power of speech, and therefore too much TV where speech is like just going on and on and on, and everything becomes one big chaotic mess, one big chaotic communication mess. We have slowly and surely we have devalued speech, and therefore we don't take its power into consideration. So Reb Shneur Zalman says that the realm of communication is an extremely important spiritual tool, and we ought to be very, very, very careful on how we use speech. So in practical terms, like, we have to ask ourselves, we ask ourselves and we test ourselves, and we ask, I ask out loud, are we in the practice of saying whatever we feel? Do you ever catch yourselves in a conversation, whether it be an intimate with another individual or in public, in any form? Do you ever catch yourself? Ask yourself this question: do you ever catch yourself saying, thinking something and then saying to yourself, I won't say that. I have decided, I thought of something, but before, after it is thought, and before it actually comes out of your mouth, you catch yourself and you say, I won't say that. I will be silent. Or you catch yourself with a thought, and before it comes out of your lips, you say to yourself, I'm going to choose other words to say what I initially was going to say. Ask yourself that question. How many times do you catch yourself in that situation? If it happens quite a bit, then what you are doing is you are honoring speech. You are directing speech in the proper way. If you never catch yourself doing that, start. Start. So now let's go on. I'm looking at the time. Okay, good. The third garment. So we have the garment of action that we clothe ourselves in. Clothing ourselves in means living in. You know, we put that garment of living, of living experience. So the living experience, the first garment is the realm of action, the garment of action. The second one is the garment that our inner core, our neshamas are clothed in the garment of speech. And the next garment, the third garment, that our souls are clothed in is the world, the realm of machshava, the world of thought. Now, friends, this is a great, maybe this is all bashert, you know, because I really feel that this is a meditation for us. The world of machshava, the world of thinking. Wow, the world of thinking. What we are doing now is we are thinking about thinking. What is thinking? What is thinking? What is thinking in the psycho-spiritual, in a psycho-spiritual definition? Because thinking, I do believe, thinking is different to a philosopher than it is to a mystic. Thinking is different to a neurosurgeon and a scientist and to compared to an ordinary person. Thinking to each one of you is different than thinking to the next person. We have I have a semblance of what it means for Susan or for Joan or for Deborah. I have a little understanding of what it means for all three of you to think. What does it mean that Deborah now is thinking? So I have a little idea, but only a little idea. Correct? Because I'm not Deborah. I only have an idea of Deborah or Susan thinking because I know what it means for Akiva to think. So I transpose what Akiva's mode of thinking is, and then saying, oh, Susan is thinking, Deborah is thinking, Joan is thinking. But is the thinking the same? No way. No way. Commonalities, yes. Actualities, no way. So what is the largest common denominator of how we can define thinking that is going to cover most of our modes of thinking, without getting into particulars, without getting stuck in personalities? So I want to give you a definition of thinking that is going to be like very broad. And please, for those writing notes, like take this one down. What is machshava? What is the psycho-spiritual, mystical definition of thinking? It's this. Thinking is the way that our neshama, is the way that our soul, is the way that our inner core consciousness expresses itself to itself. It's the way the neshama expresses itself to itself. That is thinking. It's as if the I, not E-Y-E, but the I, the capital I. It's as if the I of the neshama is looking at the rest of itself, the rest of the body, the rest of the brain. It's as if the inner, the epicenter of our consciousness, and consciousness is the same word as neshama in this context. It's as if the I, that the inner core of who and what we are, is looking at the rest of ourself, the rest of our bodies, the rest of our memories, the rest of our experiences. That's what I'm going to call the me. The I is looking at the me in order to understand itself. And that is a constant exercise that we do every moment of the day, that we are thinking. We are, when we think, we are exchanging dialogue and information from our deepest selves, from our neshama level, to the exterior level, the ego level, the material level, the practical level. We are in that exchange constantly. The deeper we get into thought, the more refined that thought is going to be. The more shallow and the less time we take in that exchange, the more superficial level of consciousness we will be living on. The deeper we get, the better. The more shallow we get, if we have fleeting thoughts, it comes in one and goes out the other in a second. That's a shallow way of experiencing life. The deeper we get, the more cozy we get, the more harmony and balance we bring to our lives. So Shneur Zalman says that the garment, the levush of thought relates to our inner core, relates to our souls, our neshamas, like skin is to the body. And let's not forget that the realm of thought now becomes much, much more sublime than the realm of dibur, of speech and communication, because the behavior of our thought processes differs from dibur and differs from the world of asiya, the world of action, because the world of thought, as we all know, but let me focus, the world of thought, in contradistinction to speech and to asiya, to doing, the world of thought and the behavior of thought is not observable, whereas speech and action are observable. The world of thought is not observable. That's because it's that's one of why it is reflected on such a high level. It's invisible. It's like divinity. It's not observable. Not on the outside, anyhow. once it becomes manifest through speech and through action, yes, our thought processes are observable. But the sublimity of thought is that initially it's invisible, it's ineffable. But it is the way in which the neshama is able to observe itself and gets to know itself and gets to reveal itself initially. The neshama is the first manifestation of our inner most deep conscious level, is first initially springs forth from manifesting through thought. And then someone's going to ask me the question, if I was able to hear your questions, but I think I'm going to stop after this to actually hear your questions or insights. What might be going through your minds is, but Akiva, I sometimes find myself in a position where my thoughts are just rushing and I have no control over what I think. I have no control over what's going, what electrical impulses are going through my mind. I somehow can't control it. It's just like beyond my control. I think what I think. So let's try this experiment, because I really want to hear from you. Let's try this. Let's try how this works out. I don't know, and I don't know who's in charge anymore. If anyone has anything to say, it's either Ellen or Donna.
Right now, there are no questions in the chat. Does
Okay.
anybody have a question to ask Rabbi Akiva? Please put it in the chat. Rabbi, it seems like we're all interested in what you have to say. We're holding our thoughts.
Okay.
Going forward.
Okay. So friends, regarding that question that I asked, Rabbi Shneur Zalman says that for those who have not yet mastered the garments of thought, which means for those that have that find it difficult or impossible to guide our thought processes to the power of the will within you, Rabbi Shneur Zalman says, then that arena of thought is a madhouse. Wouldn't you say? For those that do not have a proper guidance, an inner guidance system where the will, which comes from our inner core, to help direct our thoughts, to help control our thoughts. For those that do not have a handle on that, Rabbi Shneur Zalman, he says, he is not accusing anyone, but he is saying that has to be like an unbelievable madhouse. and you can just imagine. You can just imagine. Imagine on the second level, on the speech, on the dibur realm, on the garment of speech. Imagine speech unfettered. You say whatever you please. First of all, would you like that individual who says whatever they please? Would you appreciate them as a friend? I used to like the program, the comedy Curb Your Enthusiasm, because Larry David, the star, you used to just blurt out things, you know, like unfettered speech. Say what he thinks in any given situation. And after a little while, I began to not laugh. I began not to find that humorous at all. At the beginning, I did. But unfettered speech, is anti-mystical. So in the same vein, okay, Donala, I am hearing echo back.
I hear that you
Yeah,
have a backdrop.
The
Can
two
I ask
questions
you-
that Deborah asked,
sure.
the two questions are you saying that the neshama reveals itself through our thoughts? And are there other ways our neshama reveals itself to us?
Good question. I have to say that in the thought process, when I say the realm or world, the garment of thought, of machshava, I am translating machshava as thought, but I should be saying thought / feelings, because thought and from thought, thought produces feelings. So they are the feelings is also regarded as part of the thought process. So if with that, if thought and feelings are bunched into the same category, my answer would be yes. My answer would be yes. That it is that the neshama reveals herself to the I, reveals itself to the me on the most sublime level through thought / feeling. That is the tool through which the neshama reveals herself to the me. The answer would be yes. Donna? Next.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
Yes.
Okay. Are there other ways our neshama reveals itself to us? Is Deborah's second question.
On a normative level, the answer is no. On an extraordinary level, there is something called Ruach HaKodesh, and then after Ruach HaKodesh there is prophecy. So there are extraordinary, very, very extraordinary circumstances where our normative thought and feeling processes are are not relied on, but there is the Holy Spirit. There if and when we are channeling ourselves properly, and our neshama is kind of like aligned and in the zone, there are these two phenomenon called Ruach HaKodesh and prophecy, is where an individual is able to create out of themselves a vessel through which transcendent light, transcendent communication is possible. And then the gift of the Holy Spirit and prophecy comes to them, and they are able to tap into transcendent knowing of things that on an ordinary basis would not be possible. And the neshama has created out of herself a vessel of being able to receive vibrations that most people cannot tap into so easily. So yes, the answer to that is yes. There are other tools, and there are other vehicles through which the neshama can receive, and once it is received, thereby transmit and extend out of its own self, and receives a type of nourishment that ordinary people are not privy to. So there are extraordinary channels through which the neshama can gain nourishment, and when the neshama gains nourishment, it has nothing else to do but to transmit it and expand it outward. Okay, so friends, just like speech unfettered, you would, unfettered speech, you would call that person who is unable to guide their own speech. You would call them psychotic. What would you call somebody whose thought processes are unfettered, thought gone wild, unable to guide, unable to limit, unable to control one's thought processes? You'd call them insane. Speech unfettered is psychotic. Thought unfettered is insane. And therefore, Rabbi Shneur Zalman says that we have to harness. There is a way of harnessing and guiding and controlling our thought processes. There's a way of limiting our thought processes from going wild. And that lies within our own power of thinking. And he says one of the best ways to create that guidance system for our thought process is to have a great repertoire of good and holy thoughts with which to guide and displace other thoughts. Now that is a chiddush, friends. We are able, he says, to affect our thought processes by introducing other thought processes and to create a repertoire of thoughts that are going to be able to dispel thoughts that are haunting us, thoughts that are bothering us. That's a big mistake that people make. I am going to wallow in my own thoughts because I can't help it. That's a hard place to live. And it's a hard place to get out of. So Reb Shneur Zalman's advice is, you know what? In order to get out of that place, add holy, compassionate, loving thoughts, thought exercises to your repertoire, and you will see that those will dispel and kind of dispel and subliminally cancel out, make vanish the thought processes that are bringing you down. Add light. Don't be foolish enough to go into the darkness and expect the darkness to disappear. Add to your repertoire and automatically that holy repertoire of those other thoughts will inch out the other ones. It's a great psycho-spiritual lesson that he's teaching. What we are capable, we are capable. Shneur Zalman is saying of guiding and controlling our thought processes and divesting ourselves from one thought and investing ourselves in another thought. It takes control, it takes will, but we are capable of that. Reb Shneur Zalman is giving us a great encouragement. We are able to shift our thought processes. We are able to come up with ideas. You know, someone once once was pouring her heart out to me that when I put my head on my pillow at night, like all these unbelievable thoughts come into my head. I'm alone. It's silent. You know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They just rush in. I have, you know, I simply told her, put on some holy music as you go to sleep. Put on some holy lectures. Go to sleep. In other words, add to your repertoire, because it's very difficult to say to oneself, stop thinking about this. It's like the elephant in the room. I say, do not think of the elephant. And what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to think of the elephant. So sometimes, as Shneur Zalman is saying, that is not a good idea. It's not a good strategy to do that. Rather, add to your repertoire. You have demons coming to you before you go to sleep. Put some angels on. Put some holy music. Put some holy meditations on. Put some Torah on. Go to sleep to Torah. Put an IJKL Akiva thing. Go to sleep to me. I wouldn't mind that at all. That's the way Shneur Zalman is saying that we are able to shift our thought processes. How we go to sleep in a holy manner. You know what is the great benefit of shifting our neshama level inner consciousness is Shabbos. One day out of 7, we are demanded of shift your consciousness. Make it different. Your repertoire on Shabbos, make it different. It will energize you. Your thought processes on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday will be different. And talking about the holidays, the Talmud says 30 shloshim yom kodem hachag, 30 days before the festival, before the holy day, start preparing. And they didn't mean start preparing your brisket. They meant start mentally, psycho-spiritually, start preparing yourself so you can climax on the yontif. Start shifting 30 days before the festival. That's the whole idea behind the month of Elul that precedes Tishrei, that precedes Rosh Hashanah is the classic Jewish example of prepare yourselves 30 days before the Chag. That means mentally start shifting your thought processes. Start doing those things inch by inch. So the shift in machshava, we are just take this. Rabbi Shneur Zalman is saying we are able, we are not stuck in the prison of our own thoughts. We are not. Do not allow that. We are able to shift our thought processes. The thought process being like skin can move all other garments towards the neshama. Our thought processes can move our speech processes, and our speech processes are going to move our action level. And this gives, I hope this gives new meaning to the, like, all those brachot that we say in the morning, that David does a cute job with. He's saying Baruch Ata, right? All the 15 brachot that we say in the morning. One of them, and I hope when you do this next time, I hope it's gonna like come out at you. One of the brachot is Baruch Atah Adonai, blessed be Hashem, Eloheinu melech haolam, our God and Master of the universe, Malbish Arumim, who clothes the naked. So sometimes that is meant we thank God who clothes the naked. We're talking about homeless people. We're talking about acts of charity, but maybe not so much. Maybe not only that. Who gives clothing to those that are in need, those that are naked. Who gives warm clothing in cold weather. It might not only mean that. Malbish Arumim in this Chabad sense, Malbish Arumim, blessed be the Master of the Lord our God, Master of the universe, who clothes the naked. That means the three garments that every human being exists within: the garment of action, the garment of speech, and the garment of thought, is coming from a divine source, is coming from the neshama. The neshama needs and desires a proper garment to shed its light through. God, divinity, needs us to be garmented properly in these beautiful clothing that is going to shed the human our human capacity, our soul capacity, and shed its light forward through the garment in the way in ways that are going to transmit this light properly. And without guidance and without thought processes, without all of these chachma, bina, and das, without wisdom, understanding, and da'at and knowledge without the filtering in a balanced, harmonized way, the light that is shining within will just simply not be able to come to life. So friends, I hope we didn't cover half. We didn't cover anything but that the Tanya has to offer. But I think what we did accomplish is that Chabad is a spiritual theology. It is represented in your communities by the modern day Chabad organization. But I want you to know that the next time you see a Chabadnik, you can start talking. You can start talking on a deeper level. That Chabad has its outer manifestation, and it has its inner manifestation. I wanted you to know a little bit about the depth of what all Chabadniks, what they're all thinking about, because this theology is very, very vital to an understanding of Jewish mysticism. It's vital that, you know, regardless, I took a little poll the first time when the first class, and your reactions to Chabad were very diverse and very different. But just know that these deep theologies are being taught to every Chabadnik. And those of you that were a little critical of Chabad, okay, you know, like you don't like this, you don't like that, but there is a tremendous seed of legitimacy when an organization is called by this name. You know, what is your organization called? It's called Wisdom, Understanding, and Knowledge. You know, so just want you to know that. And in my next class, even in the next series, even though it has to do a little bit with the intersectionality between Jewish mysticism and Sufism. I wanted to talk a little bit about Sufism, even though it's going to talk about intersectionality between mysticism and Sufism. It really is going to be quite a bit of a little continuation of the topics of Chachma, Bina, and Das, because any discussion on Jewish mysticism or Sufism is going to have to do with wisdom, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And we're going to go a little bit more into the chambers through which we can enter into those deeper realms of self-understanding. Okay, and if there, Donna, you want to ask if there's any last comments? If not, we're gonna end this class, and I'm gonna try my hardest to get the audio working.
Are there any other questions?
Donna, what does Tanya mean?
I think there are no other questions. Oh, Rabbi, what is Tanya?
Donna, I cannot hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can.
Joan Donovan is asking, what is Tanya?
It was in the chat.
Tanya is the book that Shneur Zalman wrote all of
What does it
all of
mean?
his mystical teachings in.
What does it actually mean?
It's not a meaning, it's a book.
No, it means
Oh,
something.
no. She's correct. Tanya means let us learn.
Thank you.
Debbie, did you have a question? Anybody else? Rabbi, I think everybody enjoyed your program and there are no other questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Ellen. And Joan, thank you. Joan, thank you for that comment that you said before that rung true. The times that the Zoom doesn't work so well are extraordinary. The times that it works well is the miracle.
Hugs and love, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay,
Rabbi.
thanks, everyone.
I'm hanging up the phone, Rabbi.
Okay, thanks.
Love you.